But let's bring in geopolitical analyst Harley Lippman to get his reaction to what Biden said about this potential ceasefire. Harley, thank you so much for joining Special Report.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me here. Well,
Biden and Israeli Prime Minister. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Harley. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just saying, listening to him, I wonder if there's a real discussion about a ceasefire, which includes, hostages being released. And when we speak about a ceasefire, because people are worried about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, well, it would all be over if Hamas surrenders. Very simple. I mean, let's just start with that. Who attacked who? Who committed the atrocities? Hamas attacked Israel, and they committed these atrocities. And Israel is only doing what any nation would do, which is to defend itself. It's just that Hamas has set a brilliantly evil trap to try to hurt Israel, if not destroy Israel, by winning over the world, by getting everybody to see Israel as committing genocide, which isn't true. So this is part of their plan, and their strategy is to demonize and dehumanize Israel by making Israel look like they're conducting a genocide, which they're not doing.
Yeah, exactly. And 1.2, it's Hamas, it's not state to state. It's not Ukraine versus Russia.
Right.
This is a state versus a non-state actor. They are a terrorist organization. America has been officially at war with the global war on terrorism since Bush, since 2001, since September 11th, right? 2001. And the fact that we even are having this argument after we've been at war with global terrorism for 24 years now, they shouldn't even be in existence. And that's where Prime Minister Netanyahu is coming out and saying, you know, Hamas is delusional to even think that we would be able to negotiate on their terms and what they're saying. And Netanyahu has said, we are going to have complete victory. We're not stopping until Hamas is completely eliminated, both militarily and both economically. I've been to Israel. I spent a lot of time there these last several months. And on the ground, I can tell you the people of Israel, the citizens there, are not going to accept a permanent ceasefire. They're not going to move back into their homes again until Hamas is eliminated as a threat, or Hezbollah in the north is eliminated. You have over 100,000 people right now that are displaced, internally displaced within Israel, who refuse to go back home. And 80% of Americans are in support of Israel.
Yeah, I mean, we sometimes just have to go back to fundamentals. Hamas wants to slaughter all Israelis. Just think about that. I mean, what nation in the world has an entity next to them? As you said, it's a non-state actor. That sole mission is to exterminate the Jewish people in Israel. It's extraordinary. And Biden has to let Israel win. This is what happens when Israel is attacked by Arab nations. The UN comes to the aid of Arab nations and tries to get Israel to stop fighting, which amounts to a victory for, in this case, a terrorist organization that hates Israel, hates America. They see Israel as the little Satan and America as a big Satan. And what starts with the Jews never ends with the Jews. Starting with Israel, but eventually they want to destroy America. So it's really important that as Americans, we help our friend to defeat this evil entity, Hamas, now.
Well, Harley, we know you mentioned Arab nations. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. I want you to weigh in on this. So both the Republican and Democratic primary, that took place in Michigan. Biden faced, as you know, tremendous backlash from Arab Americans who are against his supposed support, right? Let's be honest, for Israel and Gaza. It clearly did not impact Biden winning 81% of the primary vote yesterday. But do you think the Biden administration will be moved in its policy decisions by the anti-Israel or pro-Hamas movement? Because when you hear him, granted, the man has an ice cream cone in his hand talking about a ceasefire. And then we've also heard Antony Blinken talk about this whole idea of a two-state solution, something that Israel said will never happen. And as Tara just mentioned, this is not another state. This is a terrorist organization that they're even considering. What is your reaction to that?
Well, first off, what miracles are going to take place that's going to promote peace if you have two states? Let's even say, for example, Gaza becomes Palestine, their own country, which they were anyway. They elected Hamas, and there has to be a certain accountability. But let's go forward and say, okay, Israel recognizes Palestine and Gaza. What's going to change? There's no democratic institutions. There's no free press. There's no opposition that's allowed to live in Gaza. Hamas persecutes and murders their opposition. So who do you think is going to run Gaza? It's going to be the same group of terrorists. So I don't understand or see what everybody's trying to say, which is really nothing more than a false hope, a panacea. Oh, if you give a two-state solution, it's going to solve things. It's going to solve nothing. We'll be in the same position as we were.
Right.
And Hamas has said repeatedly, we'll do it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. They're not showing any contrition.
Right.
They're not showing that they don't want it. They want to do more of this slaughter.
Clearly, they're not. They're not.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue to follow this. Harley Lippman, we are out of time, but we do appreciate your time. Please come back again. Meanwhile,